welcome to the Faky, which is a 1x2 expansion Rust base that I am sure you're going to love. The compound has a lot of angles as well as up to 12 respawn points. The ring itself has retakes and a lot of secrets you'll have to stick around to learn about. The open core has more than 20 boxes and 8 respawn points to win your wipe. And if you plan on building this amazing base, subscribe down below and let's get right into the tour. So once we are ready to take a look at the Faky, let's start by heading into the external TCs. Being a nice little bedroom as well as the external TC, with the upkeep being very cheap. It's also honeycombed from the back, and let's continue on inside. Jumping into one of our 2 gatehouses, we have Patrico peaks looking into our base, as well as respawns and boxes to put kits in. Couple furnaces and refineries in the compound, and on the opposite side of the gatehouses, we have even more bedrooms. So with that being said, let's go in through one of our 2 gatehouse entrances to get into the ring of the actual 1x2. We got some nice little ankle biters right here to look into our ring, plenty of drop boxes, and of course some nice little peek downs that's fully universal around the base. Inside of here, we got some hidden bedrooms with hidden boxes that we can store some good loot in. And going into our very cramped up starter, we have a nice little core. Couple barrels in the TC room, upkeep on the screen, and a workbench and some furnaces and some boxes and a battery. But let's continue on upstairs. Going up through one of the 2 identical jump ups, we got a locker in the jump up right here, as well as our wonderful open core. Bedrooms on all 4 sides looking into the actual ring peaks, and many boxes to store all of your loot and vending machines to flex it. So let's continue on moving. Nice little peeks down into the open core with access to lockers in the drop down, a reachable vending machine by drone right here, and 2 bedrooms up here as well. Up to 4 beds on either side of the bedroom, and it is sectioned off to split the rooms in 2, meaning raiders can take control over one of your bedrooms, but you can simply spawn on the opposite side of your shooting floor. So going into the shooting floor itself, we got some nice little wide gap peaks right here, as well as some clean door peaks on this side. Airlock to get to the roof in case you are getting deeped on, and more peaks leading out here too. Once we get to this wonderful roof, we have unbreakable turrets on both sides of it to make sure we are not getting top down, as well as of course same sides to make it even harder. 2 windmills on top of the roof, as well as 2 batteries hidden up here as well. If you plan on building this base, please don't forget to become a subscriber of my channel. It is really helpful and we are really closing in on 3,000 subscribers. Without further ado, enjoy learning how to build. Before we start building, I want to tell you about No Ping. No Ping will lower your ping and boost your FPS while you're gaming, supporting a lot of different games, and Rust is of course one of them. It's a software I use myself, and by using my link below, you can try it for free for 24 hours. Their prices are also really good considering what you'll get in return. Open the software and simply pick your game, pick the server you're currently on, and let No Ping do the rest. Now, let's get back to building this amazing 1x2. So once we are ready to start building, we'll start by building a 1x2, but we're only going to be using the first half for now. We'll put a double door facing out and our TC in the left hand side corner. So with our starter so-called being finished, we'll start by adding down these walls. We'll then place down 3 furnaces alongside this wall, which will be functioning as a jump up. And once we get up to the next floor, we'll add down more walls, a frame, and a roof. And then a double door, 2 more walls, a single door, and another ceiling. We can then add a single door facing in and a double door facing out, which will create a nice little airlock. And to get a build up going into our base, we'll start by a foundation and then a wooden half wall right here, just like so. And with our starter entirely finished, we got plenty of boxes on the first floor and more furnaces and more boxes on the second floor as well. So we'll start by expanding the base. First thing we're gonna do is add foundations all the way around it, just like this. And on the long side, we'll add 1 more square on both sides as well. I'm gonna use symmetry here and we'll be building the rest with that. So we'll start by adding down these 3 triangles, just like so. As well as upgrading the entire core to high qual, and the door frame can be left as metal. as well as the ceiling. The floors will be upgraded to metal and ceilings will all be upgraded to high qual. So with that all out of the way, we can continue expanding. All of this will be upgraded to metal and the rest can be left as stone. Now before we get the shell down of the base, we'll get the externals down first so we can't get TC grief once we expand. So go on the triangle sides of the base and build out 3 foundations like so, and build your way back with triangles all the way. Leave those triangles on that side and leave those on that side, and we'll upgrade these ones we can leave as stone and these ones to metal, giving us this footprint right here. We'll then remove these right there and we can upgrade this one to wood. This right here is going to be our future gatehouse, and we'll build out 3 more foundations and 3 more triangles. This will be upgraded to high qual and these will be upgraded to stone. And this will be upgraded to metal, giving us this footprint right here on 2 sides of our base. So let's just start by connecting everything by getting these frames down on the Widegaps like so, and connecting them over the wood frame to our actual gatehouse. We can then remove the actual wood frame, upgrade this to metal, and add down 2 more triangles right here with windows facing in and out and a ceiling on top of it. Everything in the centerpiece will be upgraded to metal, meaning this is now fully connected. All we need to do is build up the actual external. Start by building the actual external inside of this armored box right here, and place your TC inside. And with the TC inside, we can then place a window and upgrade it to metal. We'll also get an armored window on top of it, and then build a nice little box for this as well and connect it to our gatehouse. And we can now remove the twig. Inside of here, we can have room for 2 beds, giving us 4 respawn points already, as well as a shelf at the top right here that can hold 2 boxes with kits to re-gear from. I would recommend using a garage door for the externals. So back on top of these extra triangles, we'll just simply fill them in with honeycomb on every single side. Don't forget to honeycomb the actual top of the TC as well, making our TC very expensive to raid right now. And we already had a battery placed inside of here, so let's get some windmills down so we can start powering it. We'll build these windmills 4 tall, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 tall, and then simply place our windmill on top of here if we are able to, and connect it to the battery inside of the base. So back to the gatehouses, we'll start by placing doors facing in and out, as well as windows facing out and embracers facing both in and out. We'll then place down some large boxes within these triangles and 2 beds in the center, giving us respawns and re-gears inside of our gatehouses. All we gotta do now is build this to finish off the gatehouse Patrico peaks and add some frames on top of it for a future turret pod. And there we go. Our gatehouses on both sides of the base are entirely finished, and because we already have windmills and batteries, we might as well get the turrets down as well. So at this point, we should definitely expand the ring a little bit more before we expand the compound. So let's just start by building these 2 tall and these 2 tall as well. Everything but the triangles will build 2 tall. Put a ceiling inside of both of these and a wall right here and a double door right here. We can then build 2 half walls right here and a ceiling right there. Inside of here will be room for plenty of boxes, but we'll get back to that later. This will also hold more boxes on both sides, which I would recommend placing before adding the frame. So simply add down some boxes inside of here, which will be functioning as drop boxes or other things that you might need. And then add a low wall in front of it, just like so. We'll be upgrading everything here to metal. With that added on all 4 sides, we are good to go. Let's just head inside of here and finish this as well. Inside of here, we'll have even more boxes, and these boxes rarely ever get raided. I've been raided multiple times in this base, and these bedrooms inside of here rarely, like I said, ever get raided. But to make it look cleaner, we'll make the garage door face out like so. But like I said, these rooms never get raided because there's no reason to raid them. When people raid you from the outside, they'll usually raid you on the jump up side, and then they'll go for your core. There's no reason to go for these bedrooms, so hide some good loot in here if you wish. And with that all finished, we can start by adding down some frames right here, all the way across it, and a ceiling on top of it like so. We'll come back to that later. Let's head over to the triangle sides, which will be identical on both sides. 2 windows facing out and door frames facing in, as well as a half wall and a low wall, and of course a nice little ceiling and a frame right here. 3 walls facing out, 2 walls facing in, and a jump up right here too. And a single door right here, 2 ceilings, and 1 more frame. And then we'll add a ceiling here too that we will be upgrading to height wall. I'm now going to go upgrade everything that is supposed to be metal to metal so we can not worry about it later. Basically everything facing in will be upgraded to metal, as well as the floors and the jump ups. And with that being said, we can now stick down 2 lockers inside of these jump ups. So locker placed inside and single door on it. All we need to do now is place some garage doors. So place garage doors on every single frame, and a double door facing on the one leading out, as well as both embrasures and windows here like so. Let's head back up to the open core and add a full wall here and a low wall here, upgraded both to metal. Full wall and a low wall upgraded to metal, giving us access to now almost build up our open core. But before we do that, we'll head back into the ring. We'll add down 4 mixing tables here, 1 in each corner like so, as well as a nice little locker right here. That is basically it for the ring. We're also going to place down some turrets right here on 2 sides like you can see, and a bunch of furnaces so we can do a little charcoal factory, as charcoal is something you will always be needing. Just like so, giving us everything we need within the ring, and that is all we're going to do with it. If you would like to place doors here, feel free to, just know that your turret visibility will obviously be lost. So back to the open core, we'll start by simply walling it in. So just build walls all the way around it. This one will be metal, and just keep walling it all in. While we are at it, we might as well upgrade these to metal. Every single corner of the base will be upgraded to metal like so, because that is obviously very essential for the ring, as well as essential for the open core when we build that up. But the square and the triangles can be left as stone forever. So we'll start by building the open core with a half wall and a low wall, and double door frames everywhere, as well as a ceiling right here and a jump up to the next floor. That'll be identical on that side too. This in the center is going to be a loot room, so we'll add a ramp in the bottom of it, but first I'm gonna have to remove the locker. So I'm gonna have to replace the locker as well. And with the ramp down, we can add down this frame right here and this right here to get a triangle outside to place a triangle inside. And then remove this and build this up 1 more story with half doors like so. So with this loot room being finished, we'll add a door and a roof to it. And then we'll need a frame right here and another door, and a frame right here and another door, giving us plenty of storage. These will also have ramps inside of them like so. So once we enter the open core, we'll be adding a window right here and door frames going through it. And with this point, the open core is finished and ready to be putting a ceiling on it. But before we start decorating it, we'll add down 3 single doors right here, a metal ceiling right here, a wall, and a single door right here. This will be used for a vending machine that will be accessible by drones, and all of these can just simply be put doors on for now. And we're now ready to look at the open core. So once the open core is decorated, we'll just head in through it from here. So off rip, we have lockers right here to rigger in the drop down, bedrooms on all 4 corners, and of course plenty of storage to store away all your loot and vending machines and multiple boxes. So let's just keep on expanding at this point. At this point, it is definitely time for us to seal in the compound, so we'll start by doing just that. We'll build this out 2 floors like so, and add down 2 triangles and a frame right here connecting to the base. We can then remove this and upgrade all of the centerpieces to metal. Add down walls leading out, and then 2 triangles, 2 floors, remove a triangle. 2 triangles, 2 floors, remove a triangle. And then we can add a window right here and a ceiling right here. We'll then add a double door facing out and place 2 more beds inside of these cool little bedrooms. And we can put barrels inside of both of these to store away kits for our raid defense. And then 2 embrasures like so. Meaning we are good to start sealing in the actual compound. To do so, we're going to add down a wall right here. Try this on a build server, or simply try it in game and waste some wood, because it might take some time getting the walls down. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, but building a base many enough times, you'll definitely get the hang of it. So just continue placing them all the way around until we have our entire compound built. And once we got our compound built, it's gonna look something like this. It's not a fancy compound or a furnace wall at all, but it will keep your enemies at bay. We'll add some twig right here and then add down some frames on top of it like so. Repeat that on all 4 sides of the base. And with that placed everywhere, we can also place down some large furnaces in here if we wish to. So just like that, we got some large furnaces as well as refineries as well, which is definitely needed. And with our compound being fully finished, well, actually it is not. We are still needing to add down some chain link fences right here. Now that the compound is fully finished, let's continue building up. We'll go into the bedroom area right here and we'll start by adding walls facing out like so. And then we'll add 1 wall here and 1 wall here, sectioning off these 2 bedrooms so raiders don't get everything if they raid it. We'll start by adding down a locker right here, and if done correctly, we should be able to fit down 4 beds. Just place the door frames first. And we should now be able to place down 4 beds in a line like so. And that'll look identical on both sides, meaning if you're a 4-man, you could place 4 beds for you there and 4 there, giving you plenty of respawns if raiders do take control over one of them. The rest of this room I will personally be using for more mixing tables, as you can never have enough of them. We'll add a nice little airlock right here, and then the other door can just simply be used as a garage door. Don't forget to put a ceiling on this as well. So with that all being said, there's a few things we need to do. All 3 of these ceilings we're gonna upgrade to high qual, as they all obviously go directly into the open core loot. And the ceiling of the open core I will also be upgrading to high qual. And at that point we should be looking good to continue building. I personally like all my ceilings to be high qual. It is cheap and not too expensive, so I'll upgrade that ceiling too. At this point, it is time to build our shooting floor up. So let's start by adding these frames and building them 2 tall. Add a floor on them as well like this. Add down these 2 frames and single doors, and these 3 frames as well, giving us this footprint across the entire base. Doors with frames, and wide gaps of course. We can then add down windows facing out right here, windows facing out right here, and windows facing out here. Here we can add down this to make the nice little door peak, and then we'll add down some door frames in here as well. Don't forget to add embracers on everything leading out of the base, and place this so we can get the frame down in here as well before adding this roof. And at this point, I personally will upgrade all of this to Brutalist, as the frame looks skinnier and is a lot better to peek through. Obviously, it is personal preference. I'll also be adding doors on them so we can move them on and off whether we'd like to or not, as well as 2 double doors right here. I will create a basic airlock for our roof, which is always nice to have. So with that all being said, let's put a ceiling on the rest of this just like this. Squares and triangles on the outside of the wide gap, and then a double door frame and 3 triangles right here for another double door that'll take us to the actual roof of the base. Once we're up here, we'll upgrade this triangle to high qual on both sides, and then place down 3 walls and a ceiling, a doubled wall, and a nice little single door. Upgrade all of these. Inside of here, we'll be putting yet another large battery with a window as well as a physical window on it. And I personally will turn this into a nice little airlock. So add down 2 single doors like so. At this point, we can add roof tiles leading off it like so, and our roof is close to being finished, but not entirely. We'll head on up here and we'll build 4 frames like so, a triangle that's upgraded to metal, and roof tiles heading off it all the way around like so. Inside of here, we are going to be placing a turret as far ahead as possible, and then put a ceiling on it. And on top of here, we'll be putting down some SAM sites, meaning we have unbreakable turrets once we place down the chain link gates, as well as the chain links. These are very difficult to raid. As you can see from the outside, there is basically no angle to really do it. You can probably get it through there, but if you're online, it is very hard to break these turrets. And obviously from top down, it is basically impossible. So that is it, almost at least. We're just going to have to place down 2 lockers right here, as well as a good amount of beds everywhere. We'll put 2 beds on either corner of the shooting floor. So just like this. And at this point, the roof is basically finished. The only thing I personally like changing about it is honeycombing the center. There's no specific reason to do it, but obviously the strength in top downing. Now it is a lot harder, and it also gives you some nice angles to do some little roof peaks off them as well, depending on necessity. Last but absolutely not least, we're going to place down 2 more windmills that'll go into these batteries right here. And with that being said, the base is entirely finished. This is the Faky, and I hope you guys enjoyed the build. And if you did enjoy it and you actually made it to the very end of the video, that means you are kind of weird, but you're also really intelligent. So let me know in the comments if you did, and I will see you guys in 1 month.